Hey everyone, welcome back to CantoHousewife. Today we are going to do a deep decluttering using the Marie Kondo method and then organize the kitchen using the work triangle theory and zones to make everything more efficient and joyful. So let's get started. My husband is remodeling our kitchen as a birthday present for me, and this is how it looks before. I know it's a little messy, so let's start the big decluttering with the Marie Kondo method. This book is what I read, and I will leave the link in description if you're interested to read this. But I have been doing all my decluttering and reorganizing with this. The first KonMari principle is to fully commit to tidying up. It's a one-time event, not a daily chore. So set aside a dedicated time for your kitchen declutter and let's do it right. Trust the process and it's totally worth it. My husband is putting a new range hood, so I'm gonna take out everything from the cabinet and we'll go from there. Exciting! I need to take out stuff from this two cabinet and then clear this area out. The second principle is to imagine your ideal lifestyle. Visualize the home and life you want before starting. Whether you want a calm, minimal space or a cozy setup for family meals, knowing your goal make it easier for you to make decisions. For me, I always envision a cozy, functional kitchen while trying to be minimalist. We're still working on it, but at least our goal will help guide us through the process. Next, which is the most important, is declutter by category, not by location. Gathering all similar items in one spot, like all your spices and cookware, will help you realize how much you actually own. Like me, you might find that you have a tons of duplicate, like spatula, strainer, and whisk without noticing it. When everything is together, you can compare and decide what truly serves you. Items often get lost when stored in multiple places, leading clutter and wasted space. Once sorted, everything has a designated home, making daily use more efficient. KonMari method teaches us to pick up each item and ask, does this spark joy? If yes, keep it. If not, thank it and let it go. Of course, certain items in the kitchen like the food or cookware might not always spark joy in the traditional sense. Instead, ask yourself these following questions. For all the cookwares and utensils, ask yourself, does this function well? If the pan is warped, the pot have a broken handle, or the knife is dull beyond repair, it's time to let it go. Second question is, do I use this often? Keep cookware that fits your cooking habits. If it's oversized roasting pan only gets used once in a decade, consider donating it. Third question is, does it fit my kitchen space? Decluttering means making space for what truly serves you and spark joys. If an item is bulky and rarely used, it's not adding value to your kitchen. Consider donating it. Food is also different from all the other items because it's meant to be consumed, not kept forever. Instead of asking if it sparked joys, ask yourself, is this expired or stale? Toss everything that has past expiration date. Second question is, will I realistically eat this? If you're skipping over a certain ingredient, donate it before it goes bad. Third question is, does this item support my health and lifestyle? Keeping food that only align with your dietary needs and cooking habits. For example, my mother-in-law moved in and she got like tons of pasta, noodles, lentil beans, white beans, only because it was cheap, not because she would eat it. When we were doing the decluttering, I set everything aside and I asked her if it's cool if we donate it, and she said yes. Next core principle is to declutter first before organizing. This will help increase efficiency and help us make better decisions. Reason because removing unnecessary items ensure we organize what we truly need and saving the time and effort. Decluttering free up space, making it easier to see how best to arrange what remains. When we start with fewer items, we can thoughtfully assign them to the right zone without overcrowding. A simplified space is easier to maintain, reduce stress, and decision fatigue. Marie Kondo teaches us to tidy in a very specific sequence. Clothes, books, papers, kimono, which is miscellaneous, and sentimental item. Marie Kondo teaches us to follow this sequence because it will help build the decluttering confidence and help us make better decisions as we go. Since all kitchen items belongs in the miscellaneous, I also subcategorize this in the following order because of my preference. Just remember to always start easy before moving on the harder categories for yourself. For me, I'm decluttering with the following orders: cookware, plates, bowl and drinkware, utensil and tools, food storage, pantry item, and everything in the fridge. Marie Kondo emphasized that a home for everything is essential for maintaining an organized and clutter-free space. The idea is that every item should have a designated place where it always belongs, making it easy to find, use, and return. Here is how to apply this principle effectively. First, assign a home based on use. Frequent used items should be stored in easy to reach place. Rarely used items stored in a higher, lower, or less accessible area. Similar items should be stored together, and you can group it by their functions. Grouping similar items together reduces clutter and make cooking more efficient. For example, all the cooking utensils like spatula and tongs would keep in a drawer, and all my baking supplies are stored in one designated area. I also store items based on where I would use it. I'll talk about the 6 kitchen zoning next, and we'll go over more in detail. Next, we're going to talk about the kitchen zoning and the kitchen work triangle. Now, these theories are not from Marie Kondo. I just learned it along the line when we were planning out for the kitchen, and this will help increase the efficiency and the workflow. This is how our kitchen looked after phase 1 of the remodeling, and I'll make a separate videos on the whole process. So the kitchen work triangle basically include your stove, your sink, and your fridge. The goal is to keep this 3-point close enough for efficiency but not too crowded. This will reduce unnecessary steps and make cooking more smooth. There are a couple rules on the kitchen work triangle, but the 2 I follow is that first rule is you do not want a kitchen island right between the triangle. So the first thing of the remodeling, my husband and I actually moved the fridge to the other side of the kitchen, so it's within the kitchen triangle. I used to have the fridge on here. As you can tell, my husband extended the counter where the fridge was and then moved the fridge over on this side. So this make it more efficient. If you have a U-shaped kitchen like me, you want to keep everything on the same side. When I first learned about kitchen zoning, the contractor told me start off with the fridge, followed by the prep area where the sink is. Then you have your cooking zone and your serving zone right here. This would be the perfect workflow. For me, I have divided the kitchen into 6 different zones. Basically, there is a coffee and tea station, prepping zone, cleaning zone, cooking zone, snack and pantry zone, and a serving and packing area. Is try to keep all the counter clean. It's easier to maintain and you have more workspace. I used to have a water boiler, but my husband got an instant hot water. So afterward, I took it out, which saved some counter space. Since the source of my hot water is here, I kept my tea item right next to it. And you will have space to work on the counter. This is our coffee station. Since we only make coffee twice a day, we have the coffee station at the far corner of the kitchen. We keep all our coffee related items here, including the cup, the sugar, the milk package, and our K-cup, so we can just make a coffee at the bar. This way we actually save up quite a bit of space on the counter next to the fridge, so I use it as the prep zone. Same thing for the espresso cup, everything is just within reach. The bottom drawer, we keep things that we don't use as frequent, like the coffee stir, coffee grinder, all the drippers, and Vietnamese coffee maker. Next to the sink, I also have my grocery basket. So we have all the grocery here, so I can just grab the item and wash it in the sink. And this was part of my prep area. Prepping area, I have it right next to the cleaning zone, which is my center island. I have my knives right here, and the chopping board is just right next to the counter. Of course, we have our cleaning station. My husband upgraded the sink so it's bigger and don't have a divider like I used to have. It's easier to wash big pots and pans. Next to a cleaning station, we always have the drying rack. So as this is my cleaning center, under the sink, I actually keep the soap out of the way so it's easier to wipe down every night. And it's right here. So all my detergent, trash can, trash bag, everything related to cleaning is here. Another tip is you want to have all your bowls and your cups next to your drying rack and cleaning station because it's easy to offload. Also, my utensils are here, so I can just put it away whenever. Your cooking zone is where the stove is, of course, and you want to keep all your condiments next to it, accessible. I have a Lazy Susan right here for easy access to some of the common item I use, like the soy sauce and cooking wine. Also, of course, the oil. And part of the cooking station, you want your most commonly used utensil to be here. And I have a second drawer of utensil that I use less. Also for the cooking station, besides all this, I also have my spice drawer here. It's organized with all the labels. I put all the stuff that I use often in front, and then all the stuff that is like rarely used in the back. Next to the cooking station, I have the baking station, which I keep all my flour, sugar, and also the baking tray next to it. All the stuff I don't use often go up there. My measuring cup, and also all my baking trays and mixing bowl. And of course, you want to keep it right next to the oven. Next to the baking station is our packing station. I keep all my containers on the drawer next to it. And I have the saran wrap right here with a pen in case I want to write down what is in there. And here is where I keep all the parchment paper in the bags. Keep all my baking and cooking appliances next to the oven because it have a long counter and I can just lift it up to the top, like my KitchenAid, the extra rice cooker, waffle machine, etc. all go inside these cabinets. And another part of the packing station is this. These are all for my guests. I have the extra Ziploc bag up there. If we have a party, we have all the party supplies right here. The microwave here, and there's the steamer basket. And finally, we have our little pantry station. It's recommended to have the dry pantry station next to the fridge, which is what they have. But for the whole workflow, I decided to keep everything here. When my husband built this, we actually did a pull-out drawer. So you can see everything is like easily accessible. Like you can see everything with the soft close. I have all the condiments that is extra over here. And all the heavy stuff go on the bottom, like the rice and the pasta. Marie Kondo also talk about maximizing vertical storage. For example, use a drawer divider to organize utensil and cutlery, and store your cutting board upright using a rack. For spices, you can use a tiered shelf or a drawer insert so you can see all the label at once. Another tip from Marie Kondo that I mentioned multiple times in previous video is keep your counter clear. Only keep essentials on the counter to maintain a tidy and functional space. When your counter is clear, it's easier to clean and maintain. When organizing, use container and label for the pantry. For example, I store all my grains, flour, and snack in clear container for visibility, and I label each item to find ingredient easily. She also recommends using Lazy Susan for condiments and store dry goods in airtight container to prevent mess and extend freshness. The most important key that I'm still learning to do is after using an item, immediately put it back to the designated spot. Avoid accumulating clutter by ensuring everything has a purpose and place. By following all these principles, your kitchen will stay organized, efficient, and joyful, which in turn make cooking a more enjoyable experience for me, and hopefully you too. Alright, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you found it useful. Make sure you check out our playlist and I will see you in the next video. Bye!